And welcome back. You know, our next guest is known as the community poet. She is the author of 5 books, including Still Laughing, and her latest book, her latest release is Abnormal to Banned Poetry. Her poetry has been showcased internationally and off-Broadway, and has worked, well, all over the world, of course. I said internationally, and has appeared in Great Weather for Media, Rigorous, The Amstead, African Voices magazine, and other publications. She joins us to discuss what she is doing and how she's using poetry as a tool for reflection and transformation. Please welcome Dara Kalima. Dara, welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Now, how did you come up with the name Community Poet?
I didn't come up with it, but someone that I knew refused to call people by their names and just gave them titles.
Yeah.
And so he picked up the theme of me always being this political poet, being an advocate, and he's like, yeah, she's the community poet. So he would introduce me to people as the community poet.
Yeah.
And while he is long gone from my life, the name has stayed.
Yeah. Now, I told you off camera, Steve Harvey from the Steve Harvey Morning Show, he named me, he said, oh, you the community, I said, yeah, I'm the community guy. But how has your experience growing up in the Bronx impact your poetry?
It impacts everything I do. I'm from the Bronx. I'm born and raised. It's in, like, there's a flavor from the Bronx that just sort of permeates every thought, every moment. There's poems that I wrote that are like odes to this borough. There's just moments of being in the Bronx that I capture in my writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the Dark Ages affect you? I use the pandemic. It's like, oh, what the heck happened here? But a lot of people sat back and got a lot of work in. You know, they came in. They became like introverts and came in and did a lot of that work.
Yeah, it was the best and most prolific time of my writing. I ended up helping start a now non-existent poetry school called Poetics University. And so it was an international school where we were teaching poetry to people from all over the globe. And doing that helped push my own pen so much further. I wrote like 1,000 or something poems during the pandemic.
You were working it, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it was great.
Do you have a relationship with any of the other writing organizations, like the Bronx Native BX Writers?
So I'm trying to submit for the next the Bronx Writers book.
Oh, okay.
They're coming out with their next anthology. I was in their last one, so that was when I really need to write a Bronx-focused poem. And so it's bad because the Bronx is so huge and so segmented that it's kind of hard to actually lock into the different communities in the Bronx as well.
Yeah, but you are the community poet, so you know how to lock in, and I'm sure
trying.
you do it, right? Now, you are the author of 5 books.
Yes.
And I see one there on the table there.
Yes.
That's your latest?
That's my latest.
Okay. What can you tell us about them and the progress that went into them?
So,
specifically, your most recent book right here.
So, I tend to write whatever I'm feeling. So my first book is kind of my Black Lives Matter book, and then I have my Me Too book that came out right before Me Too became Me Too. I was doing a lot of work in feminism, so I wrote a book about intersectional feminism.
Yeah.
Then there's my memoir, Because You Never Get the Behind the Scenes Story. But this one has been brewing in my head for the last 4 years, and it's just about how abnormal everything has been since the pandemic, as well as before the pandemic, because we really shouldn't be working ourselves to the bone like we do. And it was sort of me calling back out, like, this wasn't good. There's a gentleman who runs promoting stuff here, and he, like, during 9/11, he goes, yeah, it was so great when the whole community came together. And I'm like, are we in different histories? Because I remember my Muslim friends being attacked and having to, like, be super protective of themselves during that time. But he's just like, no, but everyone got together. Not everyone did. There was a reason why we were protecting mosques during that time.
Yeah.
So I really, that's like actually the first poem in here. It's like, I'm not going to forget. New Yorkers can't forget 9/11.
Right.
But it's really just about calling out the things that are abnormal, talking about like what it means to be Black in this city or in this world, and just things are crazy right now.
Things seem to be off track right now.
Yes.
Right? It's not exactly the way you would think it should be, living in this world and living in this country and living in this community.
I mean, after the pandemic gave us such a great opportunity to pause, reflect, to listen to the birds. I love listening to the birds every morning.
Yeah.
It gave us a moment to move slower. It gave us a moment to like honor where our bodies and minds and spirits were. And then we rushed back to what we had before.
Yeah.
Worse. Somehow it's worse than what we had before because everyone forgot that we went through this traumatic experience. And some of us, like, I think the point of an artist is to highlight and reflect what's going on in this time.
Well, you're going to have a lot to write, that's
I've been
for
saying,
sure.
like, hello, this is not normal. Pay attention. None of this is normal. We should not be, we should not have gone back the way that we did and so aggressively. We should have given time to heal.
Yeah. So do you ever get political
Yes.
with it? Yeah, you
absolutely. So one of the poems that I tend to perform all the time, same-ish, different pigeon, starts off just talking about pigeons. And if you don't pay attention, you think it's just a lesson on pigeons. But it's a Black Lives Matter poem.
Let's hear a piece of it.
Sure. In high school, a pigeon crapped on me. Actually, while in high school, several pigeons crapped on me. See, while in high school, I had an early morning class that made me pass under a flock of pigeons right on time for their morning movements. And they didn't give a crap that I was simply a studious student headed downtown to school. They targeted me as if practicing for varsity.
They said, here she comes.
Yes, pigeons 5, me 0. I can still recall the unforgettable impact of their poop plopping upon me. They even got me on my face, like splat on my face. Strangers stare strangely as I tried to wipe away the disrespect. They disrespected me constantly, which makes sense. It was probably payback for all those times I ran up on their flocks just to make them fly, just to make them scared, just to see them at ill ease. I was that kid that was unafraid of pigeons and who didn't realize pigeons had no fears either. They were unfazed by little me or teen me. They'd be unbothered by us, which is probably why most of us hate pigeons. If you Google pigeons, you will find 15 ways to get them out of your yard or 9 ways to poison them and not other birds. Pigeons therefore get no respect. They're flying rats, so miscreants, deserve only our refuse. But pigeons have been given a bad rap.
Yeah.
And so from there, I sort of switch.
But that seems to be pretty comforting. That sounds like a story. It's poetry, but pigeons seem to be pretty comforting for you in your life.
You know, so there's a poet, Gabriel Ramirez. He has a pigeon poem, and I was in a workshop with Lyrical Faith, who's a well-known poet here in New York, and further, and so we had to like emulate some lessons we took from other poets.
Yeah. And
I locked into Gabriel's poem where he had the pigeons in it, and this became my poem.
There you go. Who would you say has been an inspiration or inspirational to you?
There's so many people. Like, there's that book, Black Poetry, that was like a Bible in my house. So I would just sit and spend time in like the Harlem Renaissance section. So Langston Hughes, Claude McKay, all of that. I devoured those poems over and over again. But hilariously, the person who actually somehow influenced my writing the most and also did not was, oh my gosh, why did her brain just... Sonia Sanchez.
No, that happens. No, that happens.
Sonia Sanchez. And it's because when I was a kid, I went
That's
to...
KRS or CRS.
What?
That's CRS.
Yes.
No, sometimes.
So when I went to elementary school down the block, and actually not that far from here, and we had to read this like poem, and it was for I think it was for like Black History Month, and they gave me this poem, and I'm like, who the heck is this Sanchez woman? I don't understand why I got some Latin woman during Black History Month, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know about being Afro-Latina, which she's not even.
Yeah.
But like I just didn't understand the complexities of our names and who we were, and all I had was her name back then.
Yeah.
And so that stayed with me as like a formidable thought process or moment. And then I've seen her perform so many times. Her morning haiku book is just delicious. Like she's just an amazing writer, and I'm so glad we still have her.
Well, Spanish people are black, Spaniard,
Absolutely.
and
I learned a whole lot.
Yeah,
I learned a whole lot since then, but I was a kid who knew nothing.
Yeah.
But that moment stayed, and Sonia
Beautiful.
Sanchez's name has stayed with me for all these years.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who want to become poets or even rappers because there's a link.
There's a family connection.
What would you tell them? You knew I was going to ask you that.
I know.
Right? Yeah.
I know. Write was one answer, like write. It doesn't even have to go anywhere. It doesn't have to go far. I think you have to manage your expectations as a writer, though.
But when you say writer, some people say, they get like frightened because, well, what the heck do I write?
Anything, everything,
Yeah.
whatever's in your mind, whatever's
Whatever
in your
you
heart.
see.
There's no bad writing. I'm a student of Natalie Goldberg, and then she wrote Writing Down the Bones. That's her most famous one. She has a lot more books than that. But there's a part of our writing practice where we don't actually give feedback. We just share so that we know it's okay to have said these words.
Yeah.
And like the world didn't blow up when I read these lines. And that sort of gives you a different backbone for being out there as a writer. So part of it is just write. It doesn't matter what you're writing. It don't have to be for anyone. But if you do want to continue and excel, then you also need to study the craft. You need to know who's doing it, what they're doing, how it's done, where do you fit in all of this? Because there's a lot of poets out there. Are we all great? I'm just going to leave that question there.
Yeah. That's a question to ask. Not everybody's on the same page, but, people are doing what they do and what they feel comfortable with.
And everyone needs it from somewhere else. So like, you may not be my type of writer. I do a lot of work coaching other writers. And their writing may not be for me, but somebody else needs it. So write it.
Write it. Follow your passion.
Absolutely.
It becomes your passion-driven life. If you love it, keep on going.
Absolutely.
Ain't no stopping us now. That's the WBLS national anthem. Frankie Crocker was the first one to play that. What advice? Well, we did that one. Can you tell us about your workshops? I know you got some of them coming up.
So right now I'm on a slight hiatus, but I just did a memoir and poetry writing workshop with the Bronx Council of the Arts. I'm in conversation to come back to them at some point in this next season. Whenever people need me to teach something, I do, wherever. So I've done it with my friend who runs a group out of Staten Island. And I just love getting people to see how to make the work. And especially like poetic forms are something that everyone hates, but there's so many ways to crack into it. And even if you never use the form in your general writing, it changes how your brain works around writing. It makes you a more skilled, nuanced writer. So I love helping people get there.
So there is something that you can use, like there are apps and things like that, or something you can put on your computer to help outline some of the poetry that you use, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and there's also now this wonderful world of AI. Most places do not want an AI generated poem.
But it's not
But it's
personal.
not even. But it's not, and
it doesn't know what
it
you
doesn't.
You do what you see in the Bronx.
Absolutely.
Or what you see in your community.
I gave it a prompt. And I wanted to see what it would say about what's going on in Israel, Palestine. And I kept pushing it to go certain ways, and it gave me a line. And that line created a new poem for me. So it wasn't actually, I don't care about what AI, exactly, I don't care what AI wrote because I wasn't going to use it at all. I wanted to see what it could do. But there was one line that it wrote that I was like, that's the thing that's going to start my next
sometimes you can get it from that, or sometimes you'll hear a commercial on TV, or hear something on the radio, or somebody's having a conversation. You hear something that somebody says, that's it.
Exactly. That is how it works. That is how it works. Someone asked me about poetic forms, and I was like, well, I'm a poetic form. And so that's a poem that I started working on.
That's your poem, I'm the poetic form. That's my new poem.
Absolutely. I just got to finish tweaking it.
There you go. So are you going to be anywhere in the community where people can come out and see you?
Absolutely. So on the 20th of September, my late teacher, Bobby Gonzalez, had a group, Spoken Word 101, which I've inherited it. I just haven't kicked it back off again. But some of the people from that experience are going to actually be gathering at Precones to honor his memory and his life. He's been gone for like a year and a half now, I believe. But Maria Aponte, his wife, has done an amazing job of keeping his legacy going. And so some of us are gathering there to share work that he inspired and or our own work. And so we'll be there on the 20th of September. The week after, I'm going to Connecticut and hanging out there with my friend who's a poet laureate for her event. So I'm popping up places. And then Harlem Bomb Shelter, I believe, is having me come back in November.
Harlem Bomb Shelter,
yeah.
all right. It used to be somewhere else, right?
I don't know where they're physically located. I know they've changed physical locations.
Yeah, I thought I was driving by and I said, oh, I went in and hosted something, and they were at this location, but now
yeah, they pop up all over. Like the whole thing is being in Harlem. So wherever Harlem establishment will have them is where they have done their stuff.
I've been in Harlem all week. It was Harlem Week.
Oh, yeah, it was, yes.
Yeah, so I did Grant's Tomb, I did Uptown Saturday Night, Great Day in Harlem. And then every Thursday, I'm at the Harlem State Office building for this Harlem Summer Stage.
Yes.
So a whole lot of Harlem going on.
There is.
Yeah.
Harlem's the best.
That's still the spot.
It's not the Bronx, but it's the best.
There you go. So at these locations, where you're going to be? Food, drinks, and open mic?
Open mic in Connecticut. The one at Precones is just as a showcase. They've had snacks before. I don't know the full program there yet, but tickets will be available for the Precones one soon.
Gotta have some wings and some drinks, while you're
last time we were there, there was empanadas, so there may be some again. I don't know. Not my responsibility. I'm the talent.
Yeah. So you said his wife is going to be there.
Yes. Yeah. Maria Ponte she's a formidable writer on her own, but she has done a lot to sort of take the estate of Bobby Gonzalez to a new level. And so this is like the second presentation at Precones in his memory.
That's great. That's great. All right. So where do we want to go from here? Where do we go from here?
You mean in the future? I want to be somebody's poet laureate.
There you go.
I'm putting it out there now. Somebody make me your poet laureate. I mean, we're in the Bronx, so that means this is where. But either way.
But this is international, too.
It is.
This goes internationally.
I want to get as far as my writing will take me so that I can help other people. I think the most amazing thing is I saw someone at a conference not writing who came in like regular clothes, had all his jewelry on, and it's a professional thing. And I said, thank you for being like yourself at this meeting, but we don't have to get dressed up. So I think that's the same thing I want to do with poetry, because there's so many people who have MFAs, and I don't have one, and that seems to be a barrier, but there's so many more talented writers out there.
There's no barrier. So go around it, go above it, go under it.
And I want to show people that can happen.
Yeah.
So wherever they're going to take my name, I'm going to be there.
There you go. I got a wrap. Where can we go? Social media, website?
Yeah, Dara Kalima is my name. You can find me everywhere as that. You can go to my website, darakalima.com. Just look for Dara Kalima. You will find me.
Dara Kalima. There you go. Here's a book, by the way. Check it out. Boom. There you go. It's not normal. It's normal.
It is abnormal to ban poetry.
So I'm reading it backwards. It came back. But
that's okay.
There you go. So read it one more time.
It is abnormal to ban poetry.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. It is abnormal to ban poetry. Dara Kalima, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a quick break. I've got a whole lot more. Well, we'll just keep giving it to you until it's time to quit right here on Open.